Hi guys! So today we're going to be overwintering my garden just to show you the things you need to put in place to get it all set for the winter so it can be fabulous for spring and for summer. We'll take a look at what you need to do with your annuals, your tropicals, your leaves, your flower beds, your bulbs, and all of that. And if you've never been here before, my name is Marlene. Welcome to my home and garden channel. Welcome everyone. Now let's get to overwintering. First thing you'll need to do is to take in your tropicals and your tender plants so they can be safe from the frost and any ice or snow that you may get in your area. So we'll take these in first.
In the fall season, our begonias are usually at their best because they like when the weather cools down a little bit, but they cannot handle cold weather. If you get a cold snap and you left them up, they're just going to be looking like a pile of mush. So the main thing to do is to bring them indoors if you're wanting to, or you can, trim them back. And I did a previous video showing you how you can get them to come back year after year. That will be in my autumn playlist, which I will link at the end of the video for you. But as far as our croton goes and other plants like that, we bring them in and we put them close to a door or window where they can get sufficient sunlight. The main thing is to make sure though that they're not touching the glass, because if they do, then that's going to burn. Then you'll see like little burn marks on them. And also some plants will tend to grow towards the light where it's coming from. So you can always swing them around a little bit, just to get them to realign, readjust themselves if that has been happening. We have a hydroponics growing system which gives light as well. So if you don't have any grow lights and you need light on your plants, I'll link these in the description box for you, where you can get similar types on Amazon to make sure that your plants get sufficient light so that they will be okay during the months of winter. Then the next thing that we do is to go in and collect our seed heads. These are some marigolds right here. And I'm just going in and taking out the more mature seeds so we can have them for an endless supply year after year. And you'll do that basically for any kind of flower that you like, where you can get seed heads. And I did a previous video on this, which will be linked at the end of the video as well. Next thing that we do is we go in and we start to harvest things like our tomatoes, our peppers, anything that will not be able to handle a hard freeze if one is coming, or we just want to get things going as far as getting all of our fall garden tasks finished. And these were some great tomatoes right here. My sister had given me the seedlings and they were so juicy. I was so grateful. Then I planted some big boy ones as well too. And these were just so wonderful. So I'm going in and just harvesting them right now. And I like to have them ripen on the tree because that gives you the optimum taste. So good. But if there are green ones on there, sometimes we'll pick them green depending on what's going to happen with the weather. And we'll just finish ripening them on the inside. So you can do that as well too. It just depends on what is happening in your area. So you always have to watch the weather so you can kind of have an idea how to gauge your activities in the garden. The next thing now is all the leaves. That's the elephant in the room. All the leaves that keep falling, once the fall season starts on your lawn. As you can see, we have some over here that's basically covering the area. And so what we do is we go in and just, my husband, he's the one who goes in and blows all the leaves with a leaf blower. And this is something that we'll have to keep repeating over the season, because you blow them off and then the leaves fall again. But it's better for you to go in and do it a little at a time, maybe like every weekend or every other weekend, just to keep them clear, because you don't want them to pile up too high and it becomes like overwhelming. Or sometimes they can even collect mold spores under them, and then that can be unhealthy if you are sensitive, you have allergies to those things. So just something to bear in mind. There are some people who believe you should leave your leaves on there. I think it's fine to put them in your flower bed, me personally, but to have them on the lawn, I figure that it's probably going to affect the lawn in some way. But that's just me. It depends on what your preference is. But this is what we do. We go in and blow them off. And I will link this leaf blower in the description box below if you wanted to get one of those on Amazon. And then of course, once you blow them, or once he blows them, we have to go in and get them together. I did some raking with him, but I was just capturing him doing it here. So that was my little part to do. And we fill so many of these large bags right here with them. Over here now we have some pumpkins. They were late. This is a male blossom right here. And because it was looking so good and healthy, and quite a few of them were on there, we decided that we were going to go ahead and keep them. This is a female blossom right here. You can see the ovary down there waiting to be fertilized. So we kind of decided to just leave them and let them do their thing until, the first frost comes. We'll see where they are, decide if we're going to harvest them. And over here, this is the very next day, guys. I'm so glad I left it, because if you look, you can see it opened up within 24 hours and it looks so healthy and so wonderful. So I didn't try to self-pollinate it myself, but I'm hoping that we will get some pollination there and we will get to enjoy, no matter how small it is, before the first hard freeze. So this is what it's looking like over on this end of our garden right here. It's been cleared up very nicely, and we just went in and had some more of the seeds that were left, a few more seed heads. And over to the corner here, I have a little annual here, and typically at this point we'd pull them up, but this one is still looking so good, and it's been a little warmer this year, so I'm going to leave them for the pollinators that are going to come over, so they'll have something. Once the first hard freeze comes, I'll most likely pull it out. And speaking of that, this is some that we have had visiting us for this past few weeks and months, and they really enjoy this. So I figured, let me just leave them until it's time for them to really go down. And next thing that we do is, this is here, my son, he lowered our lawnmower to the lowest level, which is typically what you want to do in the fall season, and give your lawn one last cut, cut it as low as possible, so that way it's going to last over the winter and it will be perfectly fine. And some people, they treat their lawn at this time with different things, fertilizers, weed control, whatever. It depends on the type that you have and the region that you live in, if you're going to do that or not. So you basically have to determine it by that. And over here now, it's about the tools, getting your tools clean. This is our spade right here. We have shovels and all of that. Of course, they're large and they go down in the dirt, but you still want to just give them a nice wash. Same thing for the trowel here. Just give them a nice wash, dry them off, and put them away. And of course, we have like our little knives that we use to divide some of the rhizomes sometimes, like the iris and all of that. And also my pruners right here with a safety lock on there. So, we like to wash them. Sometimes I'll clean them with rubbing alcohol, like you've seen in previous videos, just to keep them germ free. But also, guys, remember to clean them with oil. You can use any type of oil except motor oil. That one you will not want to use, because that's going to go down in your food if you plant vegetables and all of that. So any other type of oil can work. And then over here now, I'm taking down my hummingbird feeder. They're gone. Their southern home for the moment until they come back. And I'm going to go ahead and get some seeds out for the songbirds. And then the next thing to do is to just go in and get these seeds out. And you can get whatever type you like. I like to get the black seed oil or black oil. Sunflower seeds over here, and that's what I use in mine, and it works out pretty well. And this is a bird feeder I've had for a while, but we had to put a little perch on the side because the birds were not perching on it very well. So usually I turn it in so that way it kind of protects them more from any kind of predatory birds that might come around, like hawks and stuff like that. So I'm thinking of my little guys. And then over here now, of course, I go in and I add the water in, washing it out first, because they really need to have their water source. And it's been so dry lately too. Of course, they'll find a way if we don't do it, but I just like to help them out in that way. And for me, I don't know if that's the same for you. I think most gardeners actually love to have birds in their garden. We welcome them. We like to see them splishing and splashing, and some of them fly south, of course, but many of them will stay back, because they're able to adapt to the colder weather, so they'll be perfectly fine. So, of course, you want to go in and make sure that they have sufficient water. They can still take a little bath, on the warmer days, and they absolutely enjoy it. Some of them have their little spats with each other sometimes, but, they come back and they have a good old time. So, highly, highly recommended. And just to say, if you've made it this far in the video and you've never subscribed to my channel before, I do hope that you will hit the subscribe button and tap the notification bell twice so you don't miss my uploads. They typically come out on Thursdays. I do lots of gardening flowers, but I also do fruits and veggies. And as the holiday season is coming up, I also do some decorating, around my home. So be sure to stay tuned for that. And then over here now, the next thing that we do is to plant our bulbs if we haven't already, but it has to be cool enough. Again, this year it's been unseasonably warm, so we're a little late in terms of when we planted them. Like the tulips right here, they're not good repeaters. So quite often we will have to, like plant every 2 years. Sometimes I'll skip them and just stick to my ones that are repeaters like these other ones right here. But it just depends on how I feel for that particular year. So I didn't show them on this video because we didn't put them in our flower beds yet. We're just waiting for a little bit more cool down before we do it. And then over here, of course, you can plant them in containers as well too. Some people, they use the lasagna method they call it, where they'll put them in layers. But whatever works for you, whatever you prefer, you can go ahead and do that. But of course, it's better to have larger containers so your plants, hold up a lot better in them over the winter. And if the soil isn't that great that you're using, you can always add these in here, any one of these types, and that's going to help them in terms of, being healthier and all of that. But you don't have to if you have good soil. Over here now, this is a mainstay for me. If I do nothing else in the garden for the cold season, I have to plant my pansies, and quite often I'll plant kale as well with them too. So you'll see at the end the ones that we did recently, how they're looking. Next we come on to mulching. Of course, there's black mulch. We've started really liking the brown mulch, so we've been using that one a lot more frequently. But if you like black mulch, it just depends on what works in your landscape, what works best for you. But the brown mulch has become one of our favorites. And of course, you have other types such as red mulch, you have pine bark mulch, and the pine bark mulch really, I think, is the top one for me. But I'm good with either of those two, brown or pine bark. And over here now, you can see that we had the mulch spread out here, and the pansies and the kale are right here, and they've gotten quite fluffy. They've filled out quite nicely since we planted them. So they're looking really healthy, and we absolutely love that. And if you have never smelled pansies before, especially the yellow ones, they smell so sweet. I put them by my doorway sometimes in the winter, and when you're going through the door, it just smells so good. So I highly recommend getting some of those, and I have a future video coming up about that as well too, all being well. And then over here, you can see this other one is spreading out nicely. But what I will say is that I've noticed that this year, because it's been so unseasonably warm, our lilies have started coming up back. We'll just have to leave them and let them do their thing. They will work it out. And of course, the animals are preparing as well. So if they're doing that, then we absolutely need to prepare for our winter as well too. So I'm really hoping that this gave you some great ideas, and that you'll be back for more of my videos and for the holiday ones as well. I so look forward to having you. I want to thank you so much for watching, and I do hope to see you in the next video. Take care.